I've been out and about in the public more so than I've ever been in the past 3 years. And people will come up to me and they'll go, Casey, what has sobriety given you? And somebody asked me that this morning. I was playing pickleball. And as I was driving to the gym, because now I have to go later to the gym, so I'm not going to see that guy who wants to fight me.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Let him mellow a little.
But here's what my thought on sobriety is, and I don't know if I read it somewhere or I made it up. Whatever it is, it rings true to me. This is what I've learned in sobriety. What I wanted, I had. What I needed, I didn't. And that's what sobriety has made me realize.
That's insightful.
The things that I wanted, I already had.
You went after them and you got them.
Yeah, and I was living a great life. And the things that I thought I needed to be on TV, I needed to be the funny guy, and all this other stuff, I didn't need that.
Those were really wants.
But in my mind, it was switched around.
Right, exactly.
It was switched around. I was putting the wrong energy in the wrong. I was putting the right energy in the wrong things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And it brought you a measure of success, obviously. In fact, if you look at research on happiness, what actually causes real happiness? What are the factors? Some of the research shows the difference between focusing on wants and understanding the difference between wants and needs. Mm-hmm. People who understand what a real need in their life is, love, relationship, connection, purpose, and they go after those things, they're the happiest people. But so many of us, like you were saying, we think our wants, the
big house,
the flashy car, big house, all the fun stuff, toys. We think those are our needs and that they'll bring us happiness. And that's like a dog chasing its tail. You never ever are going to end up satisfied. And so the fact that it took, losing the job in handcuffs to help you realize that, now you're able to focus on true needs in your life.
Some of the happiest people are poor, and some of the most miserable are rich.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah.
And
I think that comes down to needs versus wants and knowing which is which.
Yeah. I need and I want to do this show week in and week out, and it really helps me with my recovery. So thank you once again to all of you who download this weekly podcast.
I think some people are worried you might quit doing the podcast because you have the TV back.
You'll have to drag me away from this podcast. This is so vital to my recovery. It keeps me connected to a community that's given me so much. And if I had to choose right now, and 100% honest, they go, you can do the podcast or TV. I'd choose the podcast.
Yeah.
Because the podcast was always there for me, and it helped me through some very tough times.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because I love coming in and doing it with you, and I know Josh, he'll never leave us. Josh is going to stay with us forever, right, Josh?
No, he's going to be like that millennial child that lives with you until you're 40.
I know, until we have to kick him out.
Yeah, it's like, hey, bro, I think it's time you get your own place.
Yeah, we might have that talk soon.
Hey, we're excited for the show today. He's an old friend of the show. This is the third time he's been in the studio.
Right.
But it'll be the first time he's been in the chair.
To actually tell his story on the show.
Yep, his name is Frank Jameson. He's the CEO. Is that a correct title?
Yeah, executive director. Yeah,
of SOAR, and we've had a lot of guests on this podcast from the SOAR program up in Ogden. That's from Dustin Hawkins.
It's a fantastic program,
and he's ready to tell his story. Before we get to your story, how long have you been sober?
For 4 years.
How many years were you in active addiction?
It's hard to say. A decade, more or less. 10. Yeah.
And we're going to find out more about Frank and his story. Stick around right here on KSL.